Last month, the VA announced nearly $2 million to go toward veteran suicide prevention programs in Arizona. KGUN 9's Maria Stobbs looked into the need for this funding and programs in our community.
The Tucson VA Medical Center provides primary care and health services for veterans, including mental health care. But I spoke with some veterans who tell me it's a struggle to access mental health care designed specifically for women.
The minute I show any symptom of my mental illness, I'm no longer credible. I'm no longer believed. I'm doing it for attention.
Air Force veteran Crystal Cherry says that's been her experience since leaving the military and being diagnosed with PTSD.
Regular medical doctors don't believe me anymore.
And she's not alone. Monterey Behavioral Health Clinic says they see this far too often, especially with their female patients.
They do reach out for help, but I think they get isolated, they become alone, they're fearful.
That shared sentiment leading Cherry to connect with other veterans like Felicia Merkler.
I almost lost my life because of it, and that was because I didn't feel like I could trust the VA or go to them for help.
According to a report from Disabled American Veterans, female veterans are twice as likely to attempt suicide than male veterans.
They have been told that their story isn't important. After a while, you begin to believe that.
That's why Merkler is asking for resources designed for women.
Men process emotions differently. They have different hormones in their body. Like, we are not the same.
Case specialist Amber Brown says if a veteran is having suicidal thoughts and is struggling to get a referral from the VA, they can mention the Compact Act to a doctor at the ER.
The hospital can refer them out without having to go through the VA. Having other resources, you can use all kinds of different modalities, treatments.
It's another step toward reducing veteran suicide.
People are suffering, believe them.
For anyone experiencing suicidal thoughts, the Suicide and Crisis line is 988. Reporting from the South Side near Ajo and 6th, Maria Stobbs, KGUN 9.
Today, two local nonprofits partnered to host a volunteer event that will benefit youth experiencing homelessness here in Tucson. KGUN 9's Madison Thomas tells us more about this event on Period Action Day, a global day of action to end period poverty.
Krista Hinman says she's never had to worry about having necessities like menstrual products, but she knew she had to do something after learning just how many struggle to get what they need.
To be at school or work and not have these basic medical supplies, it breaks my heart that people are having to struggle like that, especially in America.
According to the Journal of Global Health reports, 2/3 of low-income women in the U.S. could not afford menstrual products in 2022. Youth on Their Own and Junior League of Tucson hosting Saturday's event to help make sure youth experiencing homelessness have access to the products they need.
So we have a bunch of volunteers who showed up today to package tampons, pads, and other period products for teens who are experiencing homelessness and without access to those products would likely miss school.
The volunteers package the products into small bags to make them easy to carry around. Youth on Their Own supports over 1,600 youth who are experiencing homelessness and provides thousands of free period products each year.
A lot of teens experiencing homelessness, they simply cannot afford period products. They're very expensive. So if they aren't able to get them from Yodo for free or from another community resource, they just won't have them.
Reporting near Grant and Country Club, Madison Thomas, KGUN 9.
Coming up, how local art is being used as a medium for change for Indigenous communities. We'll take a look at their artworks and impact next. To downtown Tucson, local Indigenous artists are sharing their work to support missing and murdered Indigenous people. Downtown reporter Alex Dowd spoke with artists and organizers about why art is such an impactful medium for change for some Indigenous communities.
Indigenous people, we make so many different things. Art is part of our data that we give out into the world.
Josie Rios regularly hosts Indigenous markets downtown. But for her, this one is different. All proceeds will go to fighting the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people in Arizona. A 2017 Urban Indian Health Institute study says that Tucson itself had 31 cases back in 2017.
I kept hearing stories of people that have been impacted. Hearing them made me want to help and figure out how can I help.
By partnering with grassroots organization Indivisible Tohono, co-founder April Ignacio is an artist herself.
Art is part of our culture. It is our makeup. An artist is able to see beyond what is right in front of you and interpret the world the way that they see it.
13 local Indigenous artists made work for auction and set up booths at the event.
It feels very personal because that could happen to anybody that I know in my family.
Ignacio says this is the first time they've gotten support from outside the organization.
The proceeds actually do go back to the community.
Rios says she hopes the funds raised bring more attention to the cases of missing or murdered Indigenous people. From near 7th and 4th, Alex Dowd, KGUN 9.
University of Arizona Centennial Hall gained another name today. The U of A unveiling the new sign with a description of the building in a language of the Muskogee or Creek people. It translates to House of Arts. Speakers from Muskogee Nation say that the name pays homage to performances that take place in the building and honors those who create them. Mackenzie Cooper, a freshman who's a part of the Muskogee Nation, says she's excited to see her community represented on campus.
I think it's really great considering that U of A stands on native lands, and I think it's really cool to bring in tribes that aren't from Arizona, and especially my own tribe.
Centennial Hall now joins Arizona Stadium and Old Main as physical signs of the university's connection to Native nations. We're still seeing hundreds on our scoreboard here as we head into tomorrow, but is that going to stay for the rest of the week? We're going to talk about that coming up in the full forecast.
And now, KGUN 9 First Warning Weather.
It's been a beautiful day. We've been seeing a lot of really beautiful temperatures out there, and we're also seeing that Mount Bigelow is just looking so nice this time of year. It's definitely a time to head up there if you're trying to see any beautiful temperatures. This is definitely the place to be. No precipitation right now. We're seeing it's pretty dry in our neck of the woods, and so that'll continue throughout the rest of our weekend. Overnight by 6 a.m. we'll be in the 60s. That's 67 right there at 6 a.m. And then that's actually our low. And then you can see 50s across the board in Cochise County, 55 in Benson, 63 in Sierra Vista. Going up north, you're still in those 70s. Zooming in here, you'll see that we're at 67 in the metro area. 60s really sprinkled around there, but like I said, Mount Lemmon up there 57. That's definitely the place to be as we're still in this unseasonably above average for this time of year hot temperatures, because look at our highs going into tomorrow. We're gonna have a high of 100 in Tucson, 101 in Marana. Just keeps getting warmer as we head up to Phoenix. You can see that 74 on Mount Lemmon, but 90 sprinkled in there as we head more south. You can see that in Cochise County you're seeing 92 in Wilcox, 92 in Sierra Vista, so pretty much 90s are the name of the game there, 95 in Nogales. And then you're also seeing that throughout the rest of the week. We'll start off Sunday with our 100 degrees, but by the middle of next week, we have a big dip in our temperatures. A big cooling trend is going to set in. These temperatures are still above average for this time of year, but we're sticking with them into the 80s until next Saturday. Sierra Vista going into the 70s by Friday and Saturday. Coming up, Arizona football played 14th ranked BYU this afternoon. We'll have a full game recap and highlights. Plus, the Tucson Roadrunners are in Colorado for their first series of this season. The Roadrunners down 0-1. We'll have an update on Game 2 next on KGUN 9 News at 10.
KGUN 9 Sports is sponsored by Fishkind Bakewell Maltzman Hunter & Associates.
I'm Erin Patterson. Arizona Wildcats up against number 14 BYU today. We're going to pick it up here in the first quarter. No score, no Fafita in the pocket. Montana Lemonius Craig cuts across the middle and takes the pass to the end zone. Wildcats take the lead 7-0. Now, all right, we're going to move ahead a little bit to the second half. BYU up 14-7.